Let's talk about something that confuses so many women. A man who seems to be moving slow. He's not rushing. He's not overwhelming you with attention. And sometimes that makes you wonder, is he even interested? But here's the truth. Not all men show interest in loud, fast, or obvious ways. Some men move slow because they're intentional, because they're cautious, because what they feel matters more than what they say. So how do you know if he's really into you, even if he's taking his time? Let's break it down. A man who is truly interested in you shows it through consistency. This is one of the clearest and most reliable signs of genuine attraction, especially when his pace feels slow. Consistency isn't about grand gestures or constant communication. It's about steady, predictable behavior over time. When a man consistently shows up, he is communicating something powerful without always using words. You matter, and you are a priority in my life. At the beginning, it's easy to get caught up in excitement or uncertainty. Many women look for intense signals, frequent texting, constant attention, or quick declarations of feelings. But a man who is intentional may not operate that way. Instead, he builds slowly, and consistency becomes his language of interest. He may not flood your phone with messages, but he also won't disappear for days without explanation. There's a rhythm to how he engages with you, and that rhythm doesn't leave you guessing for long periods. Consistency shows up in small but meaningful ways. He responds to your messages in a reasonable time. Even if he's busy, he makes plans and follows through instead of canceling last minute or leaving things uncertain. If he says he'll call, he calls. If he says he wants to see you, he makes the effort to set a time. These actions may seem simple, but they carry weight because they demonstrate reliability. And reliability is a foundation of trust. A man who shows consistency is also showing emotional stability. He's not driven purely by impulse or mood. Instead, he's grounded enough to maintain connection without overwhelming intensity. This is especially important if he's moving slowly, because it means his interest isn't fleeting. He's not rushing in and out of your life based on convenience. He's choosing to stay present in a steady way, which is often a sign that he's serious about building something meaningful. Another important aspect of consistency is that it removes confusion. When a man is inconsistent, you're left wondering where you stand. One day he's very engaged, and the next day he's distant. That kind of behavior creates emotional uncertainty and can make you question his interest. But when a man is consistent, even at a slow pace, you don't have to question his intentions as much. You begin to feel a sense of stability because his behavior doesn't drastically change without reason. Consistency also reflects effort. Even if he's not always expressive, he's making the effort to maintain the connection. Effort is not always loud. It can be quiet and steady. It's the effort of checking in, remembering details, and continuing to engage with you over time. A man who is not interested will not maintain this level of effort consistently. He may show bursts of attention, but they won't be sustained. On the other hand, a man who is truly into you will keep showing up, even when it's not the most convenient moment. It's also important to notice the difference between consistency and routine. Routine can be mechanical, while consistency is intentional. When a man is consistently present, it means he is choosing to engage with you regularly because he values the connection. It's not about obligation. It's about genuine interest expressed through action. Over time, consistency builds trust, and trust is what allows a relationship to grow deeper. A man who shows up consistently, even if slowly, is laying the groundwork for something stable. He is showing you that he can be relied upon, and that is a key indicator that he sees long-term potential. When a man is truly interested in you, he doesn't just pass time with you, he invests it. And this is one of the clearest signs of his intentions, even if he's moving at a slower pace. Time is one of the most valuable things a person has, and the way he chooses to spend it reveals what matters most to him. A man who is genuinely into you will make space for you in his life. It may not always look like grand, elaborate dates or constant availability, but it will feel intentional. He carves out moments to connect with you, whether that's a conversation after a long day, a quick check-in, or setting aside time to meet in person. He doesn't treat your interaction as something casual or disposable. Instead, he treats it as something meaningful that deserves his attention. When a man invests time, he is also investing his focus. He's not distracted when he's with you. He listens actively, responds thoughtfully, and engages in the conversation in a way that shows he values what you have to say. This level of presence is rare in a world full of distractions. Many people are physically present but mentally elsewhere. But a man who is into you will give you his attention, not just his time, but his focus. You'll notice that he remembers things you say. The small details you share don't just disappear. He recalls your preferences, your stories, and the things that matter to you. This is not accidental. It's a result of genuine interest. When someone values you, they naturally pay closer attention to who you are. And that attention shows up later when he references things you've told him, even if you mentioned them casually. Another important part of time investment is curiosity. A man who is into you will want to learn more about you. He doesn't run out of questions quickly. Instead, he keeps asking, keeps exploring, and keeps trying to understand you on a deeper level. This curiosity isn't forced, it's natural. He wants to know what makes you laugh, what challenges you, what excites you, and what you value in life. This kind of investment takes time because building a real connection cannot be rushed. A man who moves slowly but is truly interested is not avoiding you. He's being intentional about understanding you properly. He knows that meaningful connections require depth, and depth requires time. You can also see his investment in how he prioritizes you. Even with a busy schedule, he finds ways to include you in his life. It might not always be perfect or perfectly timed, but there is a clear effort to stay connected. He doesn't treat you like an afterthought. Instead, he integrates you into his routine in a way that feels natural and genuine. A man who invests time is also patient with the process. He's not trying to rush the connection or force it into something it's not ready to be. Instead, he allows things to develop at a pace that feels comfortable for both of you. This patience is a sign of emotional maturity. It shows that he values quality over speed and depth over surface level interaction. And perhaps most importantly, when a man is investing time, his actions are consistent with his interest. He doesn't just talk about wanting to get to know you, he actually does it. He shows up, engages, and continues to build the connection over time. His investment is not based on fleeting interest, but on a genuine desire to see where things can go. When a man respects your boundaries, it reveals far more than just good manners. It reveals character, emotional maturity, and genuine intention. This is especially important when he is moving slowly, because respect is what keeps the connection safe, balanced, and meaningful. A man who is truly into you understands that real attraction is not about pressure or control, but about trust and comfort. Boundaries are not barriers. They are guidelines that define your comfort, your pace, and your emotional space. When a man is interested in you in a healthy way, he doesn't see your boundaries as obstacles to overcome. Instead, he sees them as something to understand and respect. He recognizes that your pace matters just as much as his interest. This balance is what creates a strong foundation for something real. A man who respects your boundaries will never rush you into anything you're not ready for. Whether it's physical intimacy, emotional vulnerability, or the pace of the relationship, he will not pressure you to move faster than you're comfortable with. Pressure is a red flag because it shows that his desire is more focused on his needs than your well-being. On the other hand, patience shows that he values you as a person, not just as someone to satisfy his immediate desires. Respect also shows up in how he responds when you say no or set a limit. A man who is truly into you won't argue, guilt trip, or try to convince you to change your mind. Instead, he accepts your decision without making you feel bad about it. This doesn't mean he loses interest. It means he understands that your comfort is non-negotiable. That kind of response builds trust and makes you feel emotionally safe with him. Another way he respects your boundaries is by paying attention to your signals, even the subtle ones. Not every boundary is spoken directly. Sometimes it's communicated through tone, hesitation, or body language. A man who is genuinely interested will be observant. He will pick up on when you're not fully comfortable and adjust his behavior accordingly. This level of awareness shows that he's not just hearing you, he's understanding you. Respecting your pace is another key indicator. Some women need time to open up, to trust, or to feel secure in a connection. A man who is truly into you will not rush that process. He will give you the space you need while still staying present. He won't disappear or push you away, but he also won't overwhelm you. Instead, he maintains a balance, present enough to show interest, but patient enough to let the connection unfold naturally. This kind of respect also extends to your independence. A man who values you won't try to control your time, your choices, or your life. He understands that you have your own world, your own responsibilities, and your own identity outside of the relationship. Rather than trying to dominate your time, he appreciates the time you choose to give him. That appreciation is a form of respect that strengthens the bond between you. When a man respects your boundaries, it also means he respects himself. Healthy men understand that pushing past limits doesn't create real connection. It creates discomfort. They know that trust is built when both people feel safe. So instead of rushing or forcing, he moves with intention. He listens, he adjusts, and he aligns his actions with what feels right for both of you. Over time, this respect becomes one of the strongest signs of his interest, because a man who truly cares about you won't make you feel pressured, rushed, or uncomfortable. He will create a space where you feel seen, heard, and valued, while still giving you the freedom to be yourself. When a man is truly interested in you, he doesn't rely on grand gestures to stay connected. He relies on small, consistent efforts that show you he's thinking about you even when he's not with you. These subtle efforts may seem simple on the surface, but over time, they reveal something very important. He is actively choosing to maintain a connection with you, even if he is moving at a slower pace. Connection isn't always about constant communication. It's about intention. A man who is into you will find ways to bridge the gap between your time together. He doesn't let long periods of silence define the interaction. Instead, he creates moments of connection that feel natural and genuine. It might be a quick message to ask how your day is going, a thoughtful comment about something you mentioned earlier, or even a simple check in that shows you're on his mind. These small gestures carry weight because they are not required, they are chosen. He's not obligated to reach out, yet he does. That choice shows that you are important enough for him to make the effort, even when he's busy or distracted. In a world where people can easily become passive in communication, effort stands out. You'll also notice that his efforts are thoughtful, not random. He doesn't just send messages out of habit. He communicates in a way that reflects attention. He might remember something you said days ago and bring it up again, showing that he was actually listening. Or he might share something that reminded him of you, signaling that you are part of his thoughts throughout the day. Another key aspect of subtle effort is emotional presence. Even if he's not physically with you, he tries to stay emotionally connected. He engages in conversations that go beyond surface level topics. He asks how you're feeling, not just what you're doing. He checks in on your emotional state, which shows that he cares about your experience, not just the interaction itself. Consistency in these small efforts is what truly matters. Anyone can put in effort once or twice, especially in the early stages of getting to know someone. But a man who is genuinely interested continues to show up in these small ways over time. It becomes a pattern, and patterns are far more reliable than occasional bursts of attention. These efforts may also feel subtle because he's not trying to overwhelm you. Instead of flooding you with constant communication, he keeps things balanced. This creates space for you to breathe while still maintaining a sense of connection. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. His messages, his check-ins, and his interactions all serve a purpose to maintain a meaningful link between the two of you. You might also notice that he adapts his efforts to your communication style. If you prefer thoughtful conversations, he engages in that way. If you appreciate light check-ins, he respects that too. This adaptability shows that he's paying attention and adjusting his approach to match your comfort and preferences. That level of awareness doesn't happen by accident. It comes from genuine interest. A man who is making subtle efforts is also showing emotional availability. He's not shutting you out or keeping you at a distance. Instead, he allows you into his world in small but meaningful ways. He shares parts of his day, his thoughts, or even his experiences, creating a sense of shared connection. These small openings build trust and intimacy over time. And perhaps most importantly, these subtle efforts create a sense of stability. You don't feel like you're chasing him or guessing his intentions. His behavior gives you a quiet reassurance that he's present and engaged, even if he's not always expressive in a dramatic way. That kind of steady, low-pressure connection is often a sign that he is genuinely interested and taking his time to build something real. When a man is truly interested in you, what he says will eventually align with what he does. This is one of the most important indicators of genuine intention, especially when he's moving at a slower pace. Words can be easy to say, but actions require consistency, effort, and follow through. And over time, it's his actions that reveal the truth about how he really feels. At the beginning, it's easy to focus on what a man says. Compliments, promises, and expressions of interest can feel exciting and reassuring. But a man who is serious about you understands that words alone are not enough to build trust. Anyone can say the right things in the moment, but only a man who is truly invested will continue to back those words up with action over time. This alignment between words and actions doesn't have to be immediate. In fact, when a man is moving slowly, it may take time before you fully see this pattern, but as you observe his behavior, you'll begin to notice whether he consistently follows through on what he says. Does he do what he says he's going to do? Does he show up when he promises? Does his behavior match the intentions he communicates? A man who is genuinely interested will make an effort to keep his word. If he says he will call, he calls. If he plans to meet you, he shows up. If he expresses a desire to see you, he takes steps to make it happen. These actions build credibility. And credibility is what allows trust to grow naturally between two people. It's important to understand that consistency over time is what truly matters here. A man might get it right once or twice, but the real question is whether he maintains that alignment. A man who is into you will not just act aligned with his words. Occasionally, he will strive to make that alignment a pattern. And patterns are what give you clarity about his intentions. Another important aspect is how he responds when things don't go perfectly. Everyone makes mistakes or falls short at times, but a man who is genuinely interested will take responsibility for his actions. If he says something and doesn't follow through, he acknowledges it. He doesn't dismiss it or avoid accountability. Instead, he makes an effort to correct it and do better moving forward. This willingness to take responsibility is a strong sign of emotional maturity. It shows that he respects you enough to be honest even when it's uncomfortable, and that honesty reinforces trust because you begin to see that his actions are not driven by convenience, but by genuine intention. You'll also notice that his actions don't create confusion. A man whose words and actions are aligned brings clarity into your experience with him. You don't have to constantly interpret mixed signals or wonder what he really means. His behavior speaks for itself. It becomes easier to understand where you stand because what he says and what he does tell the same story. Over time, this alignment builds a sense of security. You begin to trust not just what he says in the moment, but who he is as a person. His actions reinforce his words, and his words reflect his actions. This consistency is what creates a stable and healthy connection, even if things are progressing slowly. A man who is truly into you will understand that trust is earned through action, not just words, and by consistently aligning what he says with what he does, he shows you that his interest is real, intentional, and worth paying attention to. At the end of the day, understanding whether a man is truly into you isn't about chasing certainty. It's about paying attention to patterns, not one moment, not one text, not one promise, but the consistent thread of his behavior over time. When a man moves slowly but shows up consistently, invests time in getting to know you, respects your boundaries, makes subtle efforts to stay connected, and ensures his actions align with his words, that's not confusion, that's intention. Because real interest doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks calm, steady, thoughtful, and patient. But here's the balance you need to hold on to. Slow is okay, but unclear is not. A man who is genuinely into you will not leave you guessing forever. Even if he's taking his time, he will give you enough consistency, clarity, and effort to feel secure in where you stand. So instead of focusing only on speed, focus on substance. Instead of asking, is he moving fast enough? Ask, is he showing me through his actions that he values me? Because the right man won't rush the connection, but he also won't risk losing you by being inconsistent. He will meet you with intention, respect, and steady effort, and over time, you won't have to question his interest. You'll feel it.